Pink unicorns are no good for anybody. They're no good for people with disabilities across Canada. And the impact, the cruel impact that it has on people with disabilities. We're going to be talking more on today's episode of this. Do you like pink unicorns? I don't like pink unicorns. I got one right behind me, by the way. It's sitting right behind me. It's staring right at you. Don't worry, it won't come out and bite you. Not yet. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain, and I'm the host, and I'm broadcasting from Victoria, British Columbia. It's a little bit cloudy out this morning. It's not raining, not yet, no snow. Maybe eventually, a cold front coming in next week, so who knows what'll happen there. Mother Nature has a mind of her own, so winter's just around the corner knocking at our door saying, do you remember me? And joining me is Neil Matheson from Surrey, British Columbia. Good morning, Neil.
Morning.
And today we're going to be talking about the cruel impacts facing pink unicorns. Yeah, it's about the cruel game facing disabled people in Canada. I mean, when you have a disability, they don't go away. You acquire more disabilities as you progress through life, no fault of your own. But it's the cruel clawbacks,
Yeah.
that are really impacting people with disabilities across Canada. I mean, on social assistance, they call it. Every jurisdiction in Canada have a different disability program in place. Some don't even have any disability programs in place. I don't know why they don't. They should. They should have a program in place where it's no less than poverty level, like the market basket measure. Nobody should be living in legislated poverty in Canada.
Yeah.
And so shame on all levels of government who allow poverty to flourish, right? The money is there. I mean, we've talked about this many times, and advocacy organizations, self advocates, people with lived experience, and they go through these things on a day to day basis, like having to choose things, daily life things. And when governments make these political choices, right, there's always excuses of status quo. And when I say status quo, I mean that when there's no increase to the rates, that basically means a clawback, right? That's a
Yeah.
clawback, because if you're just maintaining status quo, you're not increasing it, and the cost of living goes up, you get a rent increase in market
Yeah.
housing. And so status quo, is wow.
But I mean, let's be fair, Brenton, and I actually call it for what it is though too. Like
Mhm,
when you have a clawback,
mhm,
you're basically saying you're not even entitled to the status quo. You're
right.
not you're not even entitled to the status quo. You get less than the status quo. So
Yep.
so even though the status quo is already
Yeah.
less, the
Yeah.
clawbacks are basically saying you get less than less.
Yeah. So
You
right,
know,
right.
you know, so it's worse than I mean, like when we talk about clawbacks, it's not like the clawbacks have just happened in the last like year or two. We're
Mm,
going back 32
30,
years now, Brent. It's been
at least.
32 years,
Yeah.
starting back in 1993, 94-ish. Uh, we always say Mike Harcourt is the father of the clawback, and he,
Hmm.
he is, for all that NDP, the BC NDP here says we're the most progressive party, and we care about everyone. It's like, you know, the fact of the matter is Mike Harcourt is the one that voted this in,
Hmm.
and when I put out my last complaint, and I put it to the ombudsman office, and it's under review now.
Hmm.
They're reviewing it, but I actually put the word bigotry in my complaint like
Hmm.
3 times. 3 or 4 times I used the word bigotry. I said the idea of punishing, like deliberately being what's prejudice against people with disabilities.
Hmm.
That's what bigotry is when you're deliberately being prejudiced against a particular person or a group of people,
Hmm.
overly so. When you're doing overly so on purpose, that is the definition of bigotry.
Yeah.
And I said, So you have 32 years of this policy that
Hmm.
is so perverse and so punishing, and
Hmm.
it goes back to if we rewind the tape
Yeah.
when Mike Harcourt stood up there all proud in front of the cameras
Yeah.
and said everybody on welfare is a cheat, varmint, and deadbeat. Everybody
Yeah.
on welfare is a cheap varmint and deadbeat. These
Terrible.
clawbacks, these clawbacks are a direct result of those words that he spoke. They're a
Hmm.
direct result of those words and they that bigotry has survived. That bigotry has survived now for 32 years. And I don't know about you, Brent, but I don't think there should be any place in government policy for bigotry. Openly bigoted policy. I don't think there should be any room for
There
that.
should be no place in the province of BC or any province in Canada or territory for bigotry or any discrimination when it comes to government policies. It's purposely being designed that way. I mean, Mike Harris in Ontario. I mean, we can't forget about Mike Harris. It was
Yeah,
around
I
the
think
same
he did
time
the copy paste, right?
they did. They did. It did
Yeah,
exactly around the same time,
yeah,
and it was governments trying to find ways of cutting back their services to make it look good for the government, but it actually caused major harm to people with disabilities and people on low income seniors. I mean, there's seniors with disabilities, and I mean the clawbacks that they have too. I mean, I see it on the news all the time, and they never say, well, people with disabilities. They always say seniors. Well, yeah, I mean seniors have disabilities too, but the population between youth and youth and all the way up till they're a senior. I mean, I think it's just a narrative that media just tends to use that way. I don't know. It just drives me batty that they don't like to talk about people with disabilities. It's not a scary thing to talk about. I mean, we talk about it all the time, and there's nothing to shadow away, like to say,
hmm
I need to stay quiet. You talk about lived experience stories, and I mean, we talk about lived experience stories all the
yeah,
time, and we bring on our guests and allies who have family members, maybe they even have disabilities, and but they talk about people within their realm and their life, and they carry our voices forward, and they talk to their friends, and they say, well, come on to the PWD Allies podcast and talk about it. It's okay to talk about your stories and let your voice be heard, and let your personality shine. I mean,
hmm
let it blossom, and it's okay to let the governments know across Canada that what their policies are. I mean, they're hurting people, deliberately hurting people. They were designed to be hurtful,
hmm
but the scenario is, and there's a couple of my neighbors that they just don't get it, Neil. They and people listening to the podcast today, and I'm trying to educate them to make them understand that it's a policy that was designed to be hurtful way back when. Well, why would they deliberately want to hurt people? I go, you know what? I don't know. I don't know in any human nature why anyone should deliberately be hurt because of who they are. I mean, we are who we are. I can't change for me personally. I can't change who I am. Like I can't just magically make my disabilities go away.
yeah,
I can work with my disabilities the best way I can, the best way that I know of my capabilities, knowing what I can and cannot do. There's a lot of things that I can do. The mind says yes, the body says no, or vice versa. And it's very frustrating when you would have a politician from time to time along the way in BC. Well, we raised the earnings exemptions. Just get a job. Well, I
yeah,
had a job. I had many different
yeah,
jobs.
and that's
I
that's
like
just it, right? If you get a
yeah,
job, and then we'll claw back your
yeah,
pension that
yeah, or
you got from having that job. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and one thing I'll say, Brent, and I've said this before, and I think I hope people don't tire of you and me kind of sharing our same stories over and over again. But I've said before is that I I I wouldn't have pursued like I've I've gone after the government now. This has been over 12 years for me now. Like my first wife passed away it's been over 12 years. She passed away. It was August of 2013. So it's
Mm,
been over 12 years.
mm,
And ever since then, I've been engaged in a battle against the provincial government about these clawbacks because, like I said on the last show, I said for the first over 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, they clawed back
wow.
every single penny of my $800. They clawed back every single penny, and the only reason why they don't now is
Mhm,
because back in 2015, late 2015, the government decided that they'll honor my son's portion, the orphan's portion of it. So for anybody that doesn't have a son or a child, or
mhm.
like a son or a daughter or any child at all, like they're still getting clawed back penny for penny.
Mm.
And so the only reason why I don't still get everything taken away is because I have a son. So my son is getting his portion honored, but
Mhm.
I still get like $500 of the pension clawed back because it's unearned income.
According to
And
the
and
government, yeah.
yeah, and so what I was going to say, like I would have stopped the fight like 12 years ago. I would have just given up. And like a lot of people do because they're like, well, nobody's listening to me. I'll just give up. And I would have given up except for the fact that it's not that I have to be right. Like, you know how
Yeah,
some people do something and say, I have to be right. I don't care. I have to be the one that's right. This is not a case of me having to be right.
yeah.
Like I don't care that I have to prove that I'm right. I don't care about that. What I care about is the fact that this policy has existed now for 32 years, and
Mhm,
it's not about being right or wrong. It's about the fact that this policy is not righteous.
mhm,
It's not about me being right.
mhm.
It's a fact that the policy itself isn't right.
Yeah.
It's not a righteous policy. It's not a just policy. It's not a true policy. It's not based on truth. It's based on pink unicorns.
Mhm.
If it's not a righteous policy, it's not about me being right. It's about the policy not being right. You understand?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that so
Yeah.
that's what I'm fighting for. 12 years I've been fighting because the policy itself isn't right.
Yeah.
Right?
And these policies, they are so cruel and means. And when as she that and that's kind of a good thing for me to jump off of when I say it's cruel and it's means tested.
Yeah.
Okay, and
It
so
is being
it is
tested, but
means tested, and that's the problem is that a lot of these programs, when they were designed, they were basically just as a temporary means way back when. And I guess the government figures that, oh, well, people were not going to become disabled in life. And well, I mean, hello. I mean, no fault of our own. Things do happen in life, and that we are who we are.
Mhm.
And when these programs were designed, uh, people with disabilities they were excluded out of society, right? They were brushed into, throw them into the back end, to another room. Yeah, we need to teach you in another room because we don't want to scare
Right.
the population.
Segregation, yeah.
Segregation and the
Yeah.
other students in the classroom and in facilities, put them in facilities, and
Mhm.
tuck them away. And the problem is that no, like people don't need to be tucked away. It's about working with the individual, working with people with disabilities, letting their personality shine to the best it can, to the best of their abilities, and working. The governments have to work with people with disabilities more effectively and listen to their lived experience stories. If their capabilities. Everybody wants to be able to do something. And
Mhm.
I know there's a young lady. She's 22 years old. She lives just a couple streets down from where I am. Um, and she's got cerebral palsy. She's got some learning disabilities. She said, there's a lot of things I can do, but no employer wants to hire me. She said because they say, oh well, you're gonna slow down the whole production line of where she wants to work. And she says, but I can't change who I am. They're like, is there? And this is the part that really grinded my nerves. Actually, a couple days ago, everyone. and it really put a tear in my eye because the employer was potential employer was very disrespectful to her, and
Hmm.
said, "Well, perhaps have you talked to a specialist that maybe that they can go and observe and maybe assess you for like an operation that maybe that can correct your disability." And that you
Oh,
can maybe
wow.
become maybe part of our team. And I'd be more than happy to have you on because you seem like a really smart young lady.
We need to fix you first. We need
Yeah,
to
and I
fix you
thought I
first.
was like, oh my God, like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
No. And I said, see, there's a problem is that I think there's a lot of people who do want to work. I think there's, and like I said again, and I've said many times on the podcast, I should record myself and here, Brent said this. But again, it's like a rinse and repeat. It's the fact is that the mind says yes, the body says
Yeah.
no, or the body says yes, and the mind says no. And so like for me personally, like I've had a lot of different experience in hospitality industry. I've worked in the
Mhm.
warehousing industry. I've worked for the government. I mean, geez, I worked in hotels. I mean, I mean, all sorts of
Yeah.
things I've done.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, like over time, there's certain aspects of certain things I can still do, but
Yeah.
I'm very limited on that. And of course, as you get older, your different disabilities they become more prevalent. And not that I can't work with those situations, I can. For
Mhm.
me, reading small font, it's an extreme difficult thing for me, and it's frustrating.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
know I can't change it. And so when there's certain aspects of certain jobs that I do, there's certain things that do come up again. It's like, oh, hi, remember me? It's like, oh, great,
Yeah, I
and
know.
yeah, and so I try to just I've done this with employers, and they look at me like, okay, what's going on here? Like, oh, and yeah, I'm just working with it, and damn it, and
Well, I
yeah,
wanted to just do a shout out to we have Scott Edwards in chat.
it's got
He had the comment right when we launched the show actually. So I wanted to do a shout out to Scott. His comment was persons with disabilities should receive full provincial and federal benefits without any clawbacks. Even if we have both, it's still inadequate.
way to go. Thanks,
So that
Scott.
and that's so true, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the comments that I wanted to jump off on is is so many of the government policies are kind of tailored or kind of designed as a less than like they automatically see people with disabilities as less than
Hmm.
automatically. So, like we talk about stigma, right? So the policy is automatically geared to view people with disabilities as less than. So if
Hmm.
we're automatically seen as less than, then of course we deserve less than, right?
Hmm.
So in the case of a clawback, the government can say, well, you're a less than, so of course you don't deserve a pension, Neil. Of course you
Hmm.
don't deserve a pension. You deserve less than because a pension, we know that a pension is supposed to be a protected,
Guaranteed. Yeah.
respected, guaranteed, income supplement. We know that. We know
Hmm.
that. But because you're a less than, Neil, because you're a less than,
Hmm.
we're not gonna protect. We're not gonna respect that pension. We're gonna claw it back because we know that less than people don't deserve things that are fair.
Hmm.
They deserve less than. So of course we're gonna claw that pension back because you don't deserve that. You don't
Hmm.
deserve that, Neil.
Yeah,
Right?
and like a lot of these income support systems are it's like a two-tiered system with income assistance and of course the AKA they used to call them welfare. And over time I think some of them they just call them income assistance. But in BC, out here on the west coast, everyone that people who are watching from back east and other parts of Canada, or around the world, really. But out on the west coast of British Columbia, so we in BC they have a system. It's called BCEA, so it's BC Employment Assistance.
Hmm.
Now, way back in the 1990s, they called it GAIN for people with disabilities. It was GAIN, And
Yeah.
so
And
over
they were
time,
pensions.
yeah,
And they were
yeah, there was
pensions.
those were pensions. So people
Yeah.
with disabilities had that actual pension, and of course there was welfare or income assistance, but it's
Yeah.
still under the same ministry. Everybody, it's still under the same ministry, and so when people with disabilities, yes, there's now criteria that was put in place of a bill that was modified last year. And they tweaked the government tweaked it up with some of their counterparts of other governments across party lines. They worked together. They tweaked it up where they managed to change the criteria where um, for reporting purposes of different incomes. They just changed it where it's not a requirement on different things for people with disabilities, but it's still under the same ministry where it's harmful. Like there's different things that are so harmful. Where I think that the pink unicorns, I mean, they should have abolished them at that time of any
Yeah.
clawbacks. But again, rather than tweaking it up, why not just rebuild? Why not just rebuild, like copy the template over to a temporary template,
Right.
rebuild it, and then put all everybody's files back onto the new template, done. But people with disabilities under a separate, they can be under the same ministry, but
Yeah.
under a separate category altogether. People with income assistance altogether. Now, people that are on income assistance, they will become disabled in time. They just automatically merge the file and push it over to people with disabilities under theirs system. I think personally, I would love to see two separate offices back again, the way
Oh,
it
me
was
too.
way
Yeah,
back
me
when.
too.
Um, but
Bring back the Office of Disability. Yeah.
yeah, but right now, they have the one office. They merged it all into one
Yeah.
office, and so the problem, the stigma, is that people with disabilities they'll phone up and because they need extra supports because the governments across Canada refuse to raise the PWD's income up to a livable amount. I mean, people are in deep poverty across Canada. In some provinces are worse than others on the assistance rates. Is unacceptable because the
Hmm.
cost of living is soaring, rents are high, market rents. I mean, fortunate if people can be in subsidized housing. Um,
Yeah.
but I look at the problem where Neil is that okay, there's individuals that are, in BC, there's 26% of the population with people with disabilities that are in subsidized housing in BC,
Right.
and
Yeah.
74% pay market rent. So
Yeah.
I look at the aspect of it and I say, okay, so there's an income inequality here. So how do we fix the incomes part where people that are paying market rent, they're saying I would do anything to pay subsidized housing, like rent geared to income. Well,
Yeah.
there's not enough BC housing or even third party contractors that are under the umbrella of BC housing,
Yeah.
right? To get everybody into that housing
Yeah.
where
You know what would help a lot, Brent,
hmm,
is if the government stopped the clawbacks.
yes, yes, yes.
And here again, I'm going to go back again to Mike
Mhm,
Harcourt. I mean,
mhm.
when Mike Harcourt
Yeah.
designed the clawback idea and thought, this is brilliant. I'm
Oh
just going
yeah.
to punish everybody and claw all this money away as
Yeah.
unearned income. I mean, everybody should have stood up in government and said, Mike Harcourt, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
How bigoted and horrible and stupid and punishing and perverse and sick and twisted and ridiculous and name your word. I mean, everybody should have just been so pissed off and angry about it. But
Hmm.
instead, Brent, we get people like that followed after that. You have the BC Liberals that go, "Wow, I can't believe that Mike Harcourt did this is great."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the BC Liberals that followed after that were like, "Let's double down on it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Clawbacks all the way." You
Yeah.
know,
What
and
else can we
it's
claw back there? What's behind door number one,
I
Neil?
know. It's just like, it's like if it's a stupid idea,
Yeah.
you don't copy and paste stupid,
Yeah. I always
you
say
know?
I always like to problem solve and see where the problem is and fix the problem rather than doing a status quo and
Yeah.
copy paste. Just to put things into perspective, when I talk about subsidized housing, um, in some cases it could be $500, right? It's rent is based on your income. So a lot like 74% of the population in BC, and just in BC because we're in BC, but I'm sure in a lot of provinces it's the same, probably a lot, same criteria. I'm guessing where it's like 74% here pay market rent. So if the problem is that it's income inequality, which it is,
Hmm.
so if the average rent is say, and I can tell you in my neighborhood, there's one place, and I'd love to move into it. I mean, it's been remodeled, like state of the art. I mean, it's an older building. It's an older building, but
Yeah.
it's all been remodeled. The units, if someone moves out, there's one that's going for like $1,900. Well, right now I can't even reach that. Well, geez, I would love to move there. But again, if it was rent geared to income in market housing for people with disabilities. So right now in BC we have the Safers program, and for elderly seniors, they can apply for the subsidy. They can
Yeah.
still live in their own home. They don't have to move to a third party vendor under BC Housing. They don't have to move to a BC Housing facility. They can still live in their own home and still have the Safers. They also have the rental assistance program for single mothers, single fathers. I mean, there's people that can
Well,
apply, but
apparently
not
they did.
everybody. Yeah,
I was a single dad for five
yeah,
years. I never got anything.
yeah. You never got that, which
I
is
just got the
cool.
clawback.
Yeah, which is really not right. They should have given that
Yeah.
to you. Um, but yeah, I mean, so that program's there, and all it needs to be done is have that extend over to market housing. So now
Hmm.
people in market housing, people with disabilities, they can actually now have that same criteria where they can actually move to a better housing, and maybe better living conditions. Maybe they have nasty neighbors. I mean, Sonia and myself, we've been through hell and back. We have nasty neighbors who live above us right now, and
Hmm.
Sonia wants to thump them really bad, really bad. And the government knows this because we've had meetings with government officials
Hmm.
about our situation that we're going through. And they say, well, you can always apply BC Housing, put your name on a waiting list. Well, yeah, there's like at least 14-year waiting list, but
Maybe you'll get roaches in your
yeah,
room, Brent, like that other
yeah,
woman with a baby.
yeah, exactly. I remember that article, and that was just terrible.
It's sick. Yeah, it's
It's really
sick.
sickening. But again, the underlying issue is that income. So is the income the problem? Yes. So we tie the rates to inflation. We also tie it to the actual tenants based on the individual
Yeah,
tenants in the household. And you
yeah,
say rent geared to income. So now you can actually still live in the market housing. You can move to a
yeah,
better place. You don't have to go on a waiting list because places in market housing come available.
yeah,
And I think it would be good for so many people. And it really it changes their whole aspect on the community feel. They
yeah,
feel more comfortable in their community. Yeah, it opens up so many opportunities too of
yeah.
different things. Accessibility wise, maybe you're in an area that's not accessible, or is accessible enough based on your disability. Maybe another building's got remodeled and they've made it more accessible, and they are doing that over time. So I think there's a lot of
Well,
possibilities that we could really explore, and that's why we're one of our guests coming up in the near
yeah,
future.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
Brent, you were reading my mind.
yeah,
Is is we're working on getting Sheila Malcolmson, who is the minister of poverty reduction,
mhm.
uh, here. We're working on
Yeah,
getting her on the show, and we can talk about the portable some sort of portable subsidy idea that's similar to Safers or RAP,
yeah.
that rental assistance program.
Yeah,
Um,
we're looking at possibly getting the housing minister on our show too.
yeah, her as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, she would be the one that would dive into about policies. Now, I'm not going to take the wind away from for her for the minister coming on about that, but just
Hmm.
kind of an overview of so people have an understanding of where things are at right now. So recently, the BC NDP government had a presser just over a week ago, and we Sonia and myself attended that meeting. It was spousal cap, and we talked about that on our other show that we just recently had.
Hmm.
Um, Now that was that was a good start. Should there have been more to do? Absolutely. Like I think any government, doesn't matter which government it is, and I'm not doing any favors of any specific government across Canada, right? But we hear about this from federal level too, and oh, well,
Yeah,
why didn't you just fix that fully? Well, they
yeah.
always leave the door open where they can keep tweaking things. It's like tightening a bolt. Oh, it's not as
Well,
tight. Hey, well, keep tightening it, right?
if they leave things broken, they can always say, "Well, there's more to
Yeah,
do."
yeah, exactly. That's why I keep on trying to fix things.
So they'll just like leave it broken and like, "Oh, well, there's more to do." So
It's
yeah.
called makeshift work, right? It's like it's like you see the street the cleaners coming by and they missed a spot. They got to go back and redo it again, or they got
Yeah,
potholes on the road. Oh yeah, we got to go back and fix that again. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just typical. I mean, it comes with any government, right?
Well, I mean, there's so many things like the rental. There's no rent subsidies or not enough subsidies. Like
Hmm.
not a fair system of that, and the whole thing of the clawback again. It's not a fair system of you know. My whole thing is like I said, if I if it was only me that wanted to be right, if it was so important for me to be right, I would have just given up 12 years ago because
Hmm.
I don't care about being right. It's not about me being right. It's about the policy being wrong that I
Yeah,
care about.
yeah. It's all
And
about the policies, though. And
yeah, and
yeah.
so, you know, now now I'm going to have a brain fart burn. Um, but this idea that with the clawbacks, see if you have income where all income is treated the same.
Hmm.
Because right now you've got, like, if we go back to the rental idea, you have, like you said,
Yeah.
26% get the subsidy and 74% don't.
Hmm.
That's not unfairness. That's not equity.
Yeah.
And also, when you treat certain income, like, if I worked at McDonald's, the government says, oh, well, you get, up to $15,000 of extra income then as earned income, Neil. So that's fine. But because I qualified for, because I've already worked, and because my late wife also worked, like, and like she worked for 20 years, I worked for over 20 years,
Hmm.
and somehow that doesn't count. Like that income is irrelevant and
Yeah.
immaterial.
Yeah, and
Like,
they paid into I mean, and your late wife, I mean, paid into
yeah,
CPP. And just so everybody understands that, if you're trying to figure, okay, well, what does this mean? I mean, maybe a lot of people do know what this means. But when you have deductions off your pay stubs, it's EI CPP, right? So
hmm,
in that CPP, what Neil's saying is that CPP that was paid into, it
yeah.
becomes a pension later, and when
It
you
was
need it,
it was paid
it'll be
into
there.
by my wife and by her employer,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and like both.
Yeah.
And it's a program that the federal government endorses, of course.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that's
No
that's
problem.
a legitimate program. But
Yeah.
for some reason, like, uh the provincial government here just shits all over the legitimacy of it and says, well, we don't care if it's a legitimate program, we'll just claw back the stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Federal government says, it's earned income, and the BC government says, no, it's unearned income. We need to claw that off you.
Yeah.
Like, so, and I said this to
And you're not treating income fairly if you do that. You're cherry picking income and saying,
yeah.
well, this income at McDonald's is fine, but
Hmm.
God forbid you earn a pension.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
take that away.
that's off limits, Neil. Sorry about that.
I
You
said
know,
this to this elderly man we used to see walking around our block a lot. I mean, I mean, wow, he put a lot of mileage in on his shoes. I, yeah, he'd walk a lot. I mean, he just kept on going, and it's like, wow. I mean, I think he was turning. Yes, that's right. He had 3 months before his 95th birthday. Three
hmm,
months. I haven't seen him. I think something happened to him, like I was telling you
uh,
before.
hmm,
But he was a smart man. He worked in the parliament. He worked under the BC legislature way back, I mean, decades and decades ago. And I told him the situation about, but about our podcast about your CPP, the Survivors Pension Clawback, and he says, "What?" He
Yeah,
he says, "Who the hell made that up?" He says, "Why?
yeah,
Why take away?" I said, "The government. Some government down the line decided." He goes, "What
yeah,
are they?" I says, "Are they on drugs?"
yeah,
What he said. I'm like, "Oh
yeah.
my." He says, "That is
They're
sick."
they're raiding the safe supply cabinet, Brent.
Yeah,
They're
he
raiding
just
the
said
safe
it was
supply
sick though.
cabinet.
He said it didn't make any sense, and he says I worked in Parliament from both federal and provincial over different times, and he said he was a mayor every time. I'm like, oh wow, like he's been around the block. He knew about the housing. He says, and it's all corporate greed. But he
Hmm.
said it's about holding government to account and making sure that people have housing. Is it rent geared to income? Allow them to stay in market housing. If they need to be
Yeah.
under BC housing, do they really need to be under BC housing? And that is a discussion that we had with a meeting recently. Was the minister, and we will be having her on.
Hmm.
Was is the situation is that do people need to be under BC housing because it's income inaffordability, or do they need to stay in market housing but they can't because they don't have the income. And then the government
Yeah.
says, well, we can't raise rates. Well, how about tie the rates to like
Yeah.
bring it over, RGI over to market housing?
Yeah. If you had a portable subsidy somehow
Yeah.
in the housing market,
Yes.
the traditional housing market, the
Hmm.
rental market, then it would take the pressure off. It would take the pressure off of BC housing, right? I mean,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
we already know they've already told everybody that there's 20-year waiting lists to get on.
Oh, yeah.
So like why not try to take the pressure off and say, you know what, if we port a subsidy over to the traditional rental market,
Hmm.
that would take tremendous pressure off the BC housing, and then everybody gets to stay where they are and live where they are
Well,
and be happy where they
yeah,
are.
exactly, and they can be in a community that they want to be in because with BC housing, you can sign up, but you have to take what comes up when they say it's available, and oh, you're
Hmm.
not available yet. Well, too bad, so sad.
Do you,
Uh,
do you want a roach-filled room?
yeah,
One just came available.
yeah, the way let's talk about that a little bit since we're on today's about clawbacks because I mean clawback it really it puts a person into a real bad precarious situation. When I say like their housing, if they got all these clawbacks, now they have to keep cutting back on other necessities, and then it
Hmm.
gets to a point where now they lose their housing. They could lose their market housing, so
Yeah.
now they're either homeless or they're fleeing violence. Like there's so many scenarios. Now, in order to qualify for BC housing, you got to be homeless, uh, or fleeing violence, a domestic violence dispute. Your place has been sold or condemned. There's so many variations, but you basically have to be out of market housing. You can't just say, "Well, I want to get into BC housing because the rent's cheaper. I can do rent geared to income." I mean, great. I mean, why? I mean, people should be able to have rent geared to income. I mean, according to CMHC, they say that nobody should be paying more than 30% of their income across the board, across Canada. So if that is the case, if CMHC is saying that, then why is the government's? Here's the question for any provincial and territorial government in Canada, for all the ministers,
Hmm.
premiers, ministers. If CMHC is saying that nobody should be paying more than 30% of their income in
Hmm.
Canada, and
Yeah.
now you have disabilities on top of that, okay,
Yeah.
why are you allowing your citizens to be paying more than 30% of their
The
income?
most vulnerable citizens,
Yes,
Brent.
the
The most
most
vulnerable
vulnerable, as
citizens.
government would say, the most
Yeah.
vulnerable. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just citizens, but why, but why are we paying more than 30%? I can tell you, I'm paying a hell of a lot more than 30% of
Some
my,
some are playing like 80 to 90%, Brent.
or 100, or
Or
100,
100, yeah.
100%, and they still have to
Yeah.
pay,
And then
they
they
have to
then
have,
they crowdfund their meals and stuff.
yeah, they
Yeah.
have to crowdfund their meals, they have to do mutual aid, they have to do GoFundMe's, and they have to hope that they're going to get some help. And in some
Hmm.
cases, there are people go like over 2 months, 3 months, no help. They may luck out, they may get help, they may put a wish list, an Amazon wish list out on social media, and great. I mean, and I'm grateful that people are getting help, right, from the generosity of the people, public at large, right? And that's wonderful that there are people out there that are helping their fellow citizens. I mean, because people don't want to see other people suffer. I mean, if they have the financial means and they can help people, that is wonderful. But hoping, praying that people are going to help rather than government saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is our responsibility of taking care of our citizens. Why are you
Yeah.
not taking care of your citizens?"
When government is set up like charity, it's a problem.
Yeah,
When you
when you
have
got food,
government policy set up as charity, it's a
yeah,
problem. Yeah.
when you got food banks and you're talking record amount of people now that are going to food banks. I mean, people
Yeah.
that are making very good money and they still can't afford to put food on their table or pay their basic bills and necessities in life. We got a huge problem, income inequality. Again, I
I
would love to have one.
I went sorry, but I went to this the store just I I take my scooter and I go up
Yeah,
to the grocery store. I went to Save On the other day and maybe I shouldn't name drop because it's gonna make them look bad.
oh,
But
that's
but I
okay
mean this
all the
doesn't matter
time.
because the prices are crazy everywhere.
Yeah.
But at this time of year, one of the treats that I love at
Mm.
this time of year is shortbread. So like
Oh yes.
that is like I'm Scottish, so maybe that's why I'm
Yeah.
Scottish. So like any kind of Scottish shortbread, I'm all over it. Like especially this time of year, you get
Oh,
shortbread,
I love
shortbread
shortbread.
everything. I'm
Oh,
I'm
me
all
too.
over it, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I was going down the aisles of um of Save On, and they had this little bag, this little tiny lunch bag of cookies.
Oh
It
yeah.
was nicely presented actually, just kind of little, and it was like a little window. It was a
Yeah.
little cutout window, cellophane window that you could see the cookies inside the bag,
Yeah.
and they
It
look
says eat
good,
me, eat me, eat
and
me.
they look good. And I was like, wow, this is good. And it was 10 cookies in a bag, 10 cookies in a bag, and I thought, well,
Oh,
that's not bad. And but then I looked at the price, Brent. I looked at the price, and
oh.
it was $11.
Woo.
$11 for 10 cookies. And I was
Oh,
like, are you kidding me? I put it back.
oh
I
my.
I wanted to buy it so bad. I wanted to buy, but
Wow.
I'm going $11 for 10, and they weren't big. They were just
Yeah.
standard size cookies, but like they weren't like the oversized cookies. They were just
Oh my
standard
gosh.
standard size 10 cookies. $11.
That's ridiculous.
$11. And I'm thinking, no way. I put it back on the shelf.
Oh,
So
almost had a pink
it
unicorn
doesn't
type of
doesn't matter
it.
how much I love shortbread. If it's $11 shortbread, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Pink unicorns must have been running wild inside that store.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. You know?
Yeah, and that's like another that reminded me of another treat that I love getting like once a year. And I'm working on the project on that one. You know where I'm going with that?
Eggnog,
Yeah,
eggnog.
yeah. I'm actually working on the segment actually. Just the
Okay, good.
other day, did a little bit of footage, recording footage, but
This'll be your fourth annual, right? It'll be your
yeah,
fourth
yeah,
annual
yeah,
eggnog
yeah.
quest.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
I just started a little bit of footage the other day. So yeah, I'm just working on it.
Is
And
it fourth? Actually, is it the third?
yeah,
It's the third or the fourth?
third.
I
He's
forgot now. This will be
uh,
the fourth. Is it?
I
Well,
think it's the
we've been
fourth.
doing this
Yeah,
for 3 years. This is the end of the third year, so
yeah,
maybe this will be the third year. Then you've done it. Then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, something like
Okay.
that. I lose track.
Unless we started to do it, maybe we started doing it when you were back on. I think that was true actually. We started doing it back when you were on Twitter Spaces still. So
Hmm.
maybe this is number four. This might be number
Like,
four
I
because
think it might be.
I think
Yeah,
you
yeah, it is
started doing
fourth.
it.
Yes, fourth. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's a third year, but fourth time doing the
fourth time doing it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to give away a lot of the details of the footage I'm doing, but just for people kind of following now, if they're just tuning in and learning about the PWD Allies podcast, follow along the footage of the eggnog. I mean, just look for the eggnog segments that I've
Those are
downloaded.
always fun.
They're
I
always,
love putting them
yeah.
together. Yeah.
But one thing I have noticed though, and I mean, you'll find out as I'm doing the footage, everyone. I've noticed the prices are going up and up. I mean,
Mm.
my jaw dropped when I did the one footage I saw at the store, and there was no price tag. Like, so I did the footage, the filming of it, and I couldn't find the price tag. Yeah, on the large one there was, but there was no price
It's
tag
too expensive to
on the
list the
small one.
price.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm looking around. I found an employee, and he's no problem. He came along and he scanned it right away. Hey, he
Mhm.
had a scan gun and he scanned it. He told me the price. Okay. And I can see why, because yeah, it was fully stocked.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, the long story short on that segment,
Did
I
you get
left.
him? Did you get him on the camera with the scan gun?
No, I wanted to.
Oh crap!
Oh, I know.
Oh,
Oh,
missed
oh,
opportunity there, Brent.
oh. Next time, if I see an employee, I will actually find out if, without filming the employee, I'm gonna ask if they have a scan gun. Can I film that scan gun?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that'd
maybe
be
ask
class.
if they wouldn't mind being on camera.
If they
You
don't
know.
mind. I mean, some people don't
Yeah.
mind being on camera. When I did our travel segments, when Sonia and I were able to do the travel segments, and I've had some people ask me on social media from time to time, not very often lately, but they say, "Hey, when are you doing more of the travel segments? I love that." I said, "I right now, I mean, financially, we cannot do that." And I said, and when I did do that, I said, the fact is that if I am going to do that, I will have to not be putting my putting my blurb out asking for any help. Because
Yeah.
if I do that, I'm going to get blasted,
Yeah.
because people say, "Well, he's asking for help and he's going away on a train trip." I go, "Well," so I explained to one lady who, like she became disabled, and she used to help out the odd time, and I explained. She says, "Oh," she said, "some people are just so cruel." Like, and I said, "Yeah, like, it's just I don't take it personally. I mean, people were throwing bows and arrows and like, how dare you, but the fact is that it was a gift, right? And someone
Yeah.
says, and there was one post on social media. Somebody put a post out there. He says, "Oh, the Brent, he just keeps changing his story every time." And
Yeah.
I
You got
thought,
slammed bad for that.
yeah. And I thought to myself, I thought, you know what? Like F you, buddy. Like whoever that
Yeah.
is behind there. Oh, I keep
Yeah.
changing my story.
Yeah.
He was given my train trip was given as a donation. What am I
Yeah.
supposed to say? No, can I take the cash? You know how insulting that would be to actually the person who paid for the goddamn trip? And I don't
Yeah.
normally swear on my podcast, everybody, but really,
Yeah.
like that's like you going to a grocery store and somebody says, yeah, I'm gonna buy your groceries. So you're short a little bit. Hey, a couple items. You know what? I'm gonna buy those for you. And you
Yeah.
turn around going, actually, you know what? Can you give me the cash value for those items instead?
Well,
Like, like
and
that would be pretty insulting.
I mean, we're just about to punch out here, Brent.
Yeah.
But you know what I wanted to say is that everybody's feels empowered when they can hide behind
Mm-hmm.
the anonymity
Mm-hmm.
of Twitter or wherever, like
Yeah.
when they don't have to show their face.
Yeah.
But like, let's be real here. Like you and I,
Mm-hmm.
especially you more than me, because I kind of, except for maybe this year and last year, I basically have been retreated. I'm in the background a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
but you're out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there as a public figure, and like you said, like you're breaking with Brent's and your travel segments, your awesome eggnog thing. And I'll just throw out another one. Everybody should look up Brent's Bananas. Look up Brent's
Oh yeah.
talking about secret
Oh
camera footage.
yeah.
Talking about secret camera footage. Everybody should look up Brent's Bananas on the YouTube channel. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But like you put yourself out there
Yeah.
as a public figure,
Yeah.
and I mean that should be championed that you're doing that. You don't shit all over everybody. It's like, well, Brent's putting himself out there. I'm going to shit all over him. Oh,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You should go, well, wow, Brent and Sonia, what brave souls they are.
Mm-hmm.
What brave souls they are to put themselves out there as an example for everybody else. What brave souls to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That should be the response, not to shit all over you, Brent,
Yeah, yeah, well,
right?
exactly. That's the way I look at it, and I also look at it as the keyboard warriors behind
Yeah.
behind their screens. Maybe they're upset because that they didn't have the gratitude from somebody else who was actually like so inspired. And like I know the person who actually did that, who helped us along with our trip.
And
I mean,
now
I
she's
know,
disabled, right?
and
She's
now she's
disabled.
disabled,
Yeah.
right? And I brought it to that person's attention that I got shit on for that. And I said,
Yeah.
and I said to that person, I said, imagine if I would have said to you, and I said this to the previous person, the donor who helped us, and
Yeah.
I said, imagine if I had said to you, can I take the cash value from you because I want to go and buy my household supplies because the government refuses to
Because I
raise.
know people are going to crap on me if I
Yeah,
don't do it that
yeah,
way.
because
Yeah.
the government refuses to raise our incomes
Yeah.
up to a livable standard of living. But I want to go and take the cash value, and I want to go and buy my neighbors a bunch of pizza.
Yeah.
I was joking with her about
Yeah.
that, using pizza as a metaphor, and she says, "Oh my God," she's like, "Yeah, like that would I would have said absolutely no." Like, I mean, this is my generosity, what I wanted to do, because again, everybody, this person really enjoyed the footage that we do, like for our shows, Breaking with Brent, the different coffee time, which I haven't done a lot of coffee time. It's
Mhm.
just we just
Well,
have
the weather too is makes it
the
hard.
weather's been very volatile, so I haven't
Yeah.
really done a lot of that. I did one in our local park, which was so
Mhm.
cool. The zoo, that was neat. But again, like,
With the goats, with the
yeah, with the
goats.
goats, yeah, no, those goats were so cute. But
Look
again,
up that one too.
it's just the some people in general, they really enjoy what we do, our advocacy, and it wasn't just the footage of a travel segments. It's about standing up for ourselves, our people in our community across Canada, just being there as a voice for people that feel that they well, I mean, there are people who do want to speak up, but they're shy. They're camera shy,
Mhm.
or they figure that their voice is not being heard. So this person really wanted to help us a lot. And I mean, I am, and anyone, like any person out there who does want to help, I mean, like, thank you. Like, I want to
And
thank you
like
on my
you,
heart.
Christmas is coming, of course.
Yeah,
Everybody knows. And I mean, how crappy would Christmas be if we all just said, well, instead of getting me a thoughtful gift, can you just give me cash this year?
yeah,
Like, imagine if if our whole gift giving got reduced to just like not even gift cards, not even gift cards.
mhm,
Like say I gave you 20 bucks and you gave me 25 bucks, Brent, and
mhm,
everybody just started like handing out cash
mhm.
sums instead of like buying sweaters or buying,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
That's a good point. Yeah.
how stupid would that be? Because it doesn't require any thought.
Hmm.
But this person that funded that trip for you, she put some real thought. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a cash value thing, but the thought that went into that is like, I'm putting money into
Hmm.
a trip that Sonia and Brent are really going to enjoy,
That's like me going
right?
to the train company and going, "Hey, can I get you to reverse that transaction? That person paid for it. I want the cash back
Yeah,
from the train company." You know what I
just
mean?
silly,
Imagine me
just
doing that,
silly.
and they're like, "What? No, you can't do that."
Yeah,
Or somebody standing in a food bank lineup, waiting to go and get their food. Can I get the cash from you instead at the food bank and say, "I want to go and
yeah,
buy my own food"?
yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean, it's the logics behind it all. And some people are just so hurtful. Like, I mean, I've seen, again, and that's why I advocate so hard toward the governments of doing the right thing and taking care of your citizens. Just tax the damn billionaires already. It's not
yeah,
difficult, because
yeah,
people should not have to crowdfund. They should not have to do mutual aid. They shouldn't have to do GoFundMe's. They shouldn't have to do wish lists to hope that maybe some generosity is going to be out there. And again, I'm so happy that people are helping their
yeah,
citizens. I mean, and that is so wonderful that there are so many nice people out there. And they'll say, "Well, it helps. I wish I could do more." And I've seen comments on social media to other people.
yeah,
And again, like people with disabilities watching this right now, I will do everything I can to retweet your stuff, like your
yeah,
posts. In some cases, I will quote tweet it saying, "Please help so and so." Why? Because that's my part of actually amplifying your voice to be heard. I will
yeah,
also, and I will hold the governments to account and saying why. Why are you not raising people's disability income assistance support rates up to no less than market basket measure?
yeah.
I also encourage people with disabilities to contact your local MP in Ottawa and tell them that your provincial counterparts are not taking care of you. Like maybe the federal government needs to come down on the provincial level, and if
Well,
or
yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
or
Yeah,
even like even your provincial, if they're not hearing your voice, like they are elected officials, they're supposed to be there to represent your needs. So,
yeah,
the excuse of provinces saying, well, we when the fiscal situation allows, we can't raise the rates we want to.
yeah.
Okay, well, what is the underlying reason? Why can't they do it? They can do it. It's a political choice, right?
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean, it
yeah.
goes back to what I said about us about people with disabilities automatically being seen as less than. We're automatically stigmatized,
Mhm,
seen as less than. So we therefore get less than policies, right? We get
mhm,
less than government policies, and so if we circle back to the whole thing of the PWD clawbacks, again, it's not about me being right.
mhm.
It's about the policy
Yeah.
needs to be righteous.
These
We need
policies are
we
so ancient. Yeah,
we need to
they're
have
yeah,
we need to get back to we need to get back to this
standard.
idea that all government policy should be righteous,
Mhm.
should be true, should be just. I mean, that's not a big ask, or it shouldn't be. It
Yeah, there
shouldn't
should be
be.
no clawbacks. There
Like,
should be no
yeah, like let's kill all the pink unicorns.
yeah.
What's hard about that?
I mean, yeah.
Because that's the righteous thing to do. Kill all the unicorns, do the right thing. Again,
Mhm.
it's not about me being right. It's not
Yeah.
about me being right. It's about doing the right thing because it's the righteous thing to do,
Yeah,
right?
and that's one thing that I always mention. Things that I talk about on the podcast. It's not all about like me. It's
Yeah.
about what I hear in the communities, and echoing across social media, across networks, across the country. I talk about things that impact my life from what I see and what I
Yeah.
experience, what I go through. Um, One of my neighbors said, "Well, why don't you just go when you go on a trip? I mean, why don't you just you post it out and who cares what people think?" Like,
Yeah.
and I said, yeah, they're like, don't let it get to you. That's what this one
Yeah.
lady, she
Easier said than
yeah,
done though sometimes,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, yeah, I mean, that's fine and dandy, but again, I said, yeah, she's not on this end of the spectrum of
Yeah.
doing the show and being a
Yeah.
public eye. It's like when you're an MLA or an MP or a public figure, you're a talk show host on a radio station. I mean, I hear it all the time on our local radio stations. People call in and, oh my gosh, the war with words that happen on some of these local stations. And
Mhm.
you're a podcast host. You do a show. Yeah, I mean, I'm always as a public figure. You throw yourself out there, you can get darts. But I mean, at the same time, it's about respect and having the dignity and having somebody getting upset because somebody asks for help. I mean, oh God forbid. I mean, you ask for help. I mean, one of my neighbors who has a six-figure salary and it's going to the food bank because
Mhm.
his mortgage payments are so high, his car
Mhm.
payments, his insurance on his house. I mean, oh my gosh, he spends $5,200 a month and he has to go to the food bank because his income is not high enough. So
It's crazy.
yeah, and he said to me, he says, so I mean, he says, God forbid, like I told him what we went through regarding going on a train trip. I said, so I go ahead and ask for help. Well, so what? He says, so what? Ask for help. He says,
Yeah.
I asked for help. I go to the food bank. I asked my neighbors, said, hey, you got a few bucks? I can go and get a jug of milk between now and next payday.
Mhm.
And I said, oh my God, if I went to go and ask for people for help on social media, they vomit all over me. He goes,
Yeah.
okay, well, tell them to go and get an effing life. He says, like really, like that was from one of my neighbors,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean, again, he says, we just take care of our citizens. We take care of each other one way or another. And so, again, I really, I want to, thank each and every one of you out there, like for PWD across Canada, the allies too. I mean, like, thanks again.
We're gonna have a great December, Brent. All of our dates are basically almost full now.
Holy,
Um,
wow,
there we've got like maybe I think three more dates available, and
oh my
that's
God,
about it.
wow,
Yeah, so we're gonna have a jam-packed December already,
wow.
and it'll be a fun way to finish off the year. We're gonna have some fun.
Mhm.
in our last month or so here. It'll be some fun shows coming up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And I just want the people in the disability community across Canada to know that I'm here. I'm here for you too. I'm not saying that, like everything that I say I have to be perfect. No, I learn from you guys too. Like
Hmm.
it's all about learning. It's all about learning curves. It's all about, being as an advocate, as a self-advocate, I advocate for myself, but I also advocate for people across my province the best way I can across the country. I always say, stand up for what you believe in, stand up for your
Yeah.
rights, human rights. I mean, and it's not, everything has to be perfect, 100%, right? But like housing is should not
Yeah.
be treated as a commodity. Never.
Yeah.
One of the guests I would love to get on in the near future, everyone, and there's been a couple of people that asked me. They said you did have a guest on one time. Could you get her back on as well? She's not a rapporteur for housing anymore, but
Oh yeah.
I would like to kind of see if we can get Lalani back on.
Yeah.
Um, but
Maybe in the new year we
maybe in
can
the new
talk.
year. There
Yeah.
are a couple guests that we'd like to revisit in the new year.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing a little bit of a revamp in the new year of
Potentially. Potentially.
potentially of our.
Don't let the cat out of the bag
I
yet,
won't. I
Brent.
won't. But yeah, I won't. Not fully. No, but like different show like kind of programming how
We're
we
coming
do.
back next year with new hosts.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that
Michael Bublé
yeah, there's going to be
and
opportunity.
Brian Adams are your new hosts
Yeah,
for Canada for Canadians and Disabilities and Allies.
yeah. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, there's gonna be some programming content changes, like different enhancements, things that we're working on, different show ideas. If you have ideas that you'd like to,
We're gonna
us
we're gonna
do,
have
oh,
AI Brent next year.
this is AI Brent.
AI
Well,
Brent, and
uh,
you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. It's
you
like,
won't
is
be
this
able
a
to
real Brent or is this AI Brent? You won't be able to tell. You
tell
won't be
me
able to
about your
tell.
activity. Very good, very good. And what is PWD Allies podcast all about? The PWD Allies podcast is brought to you by Brent Frain, the host of PWD Allies podcast. And joining him is Neil Matheson from Surrey, British Columbia. He's the editor producer of PWD Allies.
But now I'm
But
AI also, Brent.
but now he's AI. So who's running the show? AI is running the show. Just joking with everybody. But yeah, just to let you know that I hear your voices out there. I will do anything I can from my end. I don't have all the answers. I'll advocate as best way I can. Network with your, other advocacy organizations. Connect. It's all about networking, everyone. It's about networking, connecting. If your voices aren't being heard from one level, escalate it, right? Phone, right?
Yeah.
Email. Well, yeah, they can reject emails, but if you show up at the offices, if you can, if not, write or phone. I mean,
Yeah.
just keep phoning and let them know that like things can change. If the more that we as society keep putting pressure on our politicians to
Mhm.
say the policies that are in place right now are not working. We need them changed. We need them modernized. I think we can
And
make a difference.
I love it. I love it that I mean we're gonna punch out again,
Yeah.
but I'll just do one more shout out to Sheila Malcolmson
Mhm.
and and also if we have the housing minister on as well because
Mhm.
we're working on that. I love it that politicians want to come on the
Mhm.
podcast. They're not scared to come. They're not scared to come on the podcast. I mean, full marks for that, right?
Mhm.
Um, God bless them because I mean, we need the politicians to come on and just have be brave and have those conversations
Mhm.
and know that we're not going to throw you under the bus. Like just
I know
come
I know
on, have a conversation, and like you know,
I know one of them. I know one of them in particular that watched the podcast, which I didn't know. I didn't know. I found that out. I found that out
oh
yesterday.
yeah,
I walked by because we had a meeting. We had a meeting with the minister yesterday,
yeah,
and so we were walking along, and there was one of the ministers from another party sitting. Well, she's sitting as an independent, really, sitting there and having lunch, and oh hi, and said hi to Sonia and myself, and oh hi. and said, Sonia was like, oh, hi. She goes, how are you? And she goes, how are you? And then she goes, said to Sonia, how are you doing? She goes, and how are you doing, Brent? I go, good. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. I go, yeah, we're just joining with the minister. She goes, right, right, right. She goes, yeah. So I watch your podcast.
So and we should say it's Eleanor Sturko.
Eleanor Circle. She
Eleanor
watches
Sturko.
our podcast.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I've always respected her a ton. I think it's really unfortunate that she got let go from the BC Conservative Party because I
She's
mean
very well spoken. Very well spoken.
I
Awesome.
mean, let's be real, she was the star. She was the star of the whole caucus.
Hmm.
Like a real shit disturber, but in the very best way. In the very best way, she was the mover and shaker and shit disturber of that whole party. And when she left, everything kind of fell apart, honestly, after she left. Uh,
Quite the strong advocate. I must say,
yeah,
very outspoken and
yeah.
standing up for what she
So
believes is.
I've reached out to her as well. So like maybe
Yeah.
we'll get her on as well. Like and that'd be great. That'd be great as well. Because like I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of hers for a while. So I hope that she does come on.
Mhm. And Michael
And
Bublé, I'm a big fan of yours too. He
yeah,
invited
yeah,
you to come on.
yeah.
I know we've been trying to get Michael Bublé onto our podcast, even for 30 seconds,
Yeah,
just to
just a
do an
30-second blurb,
I don't know, to
Michael. We
do an
would love it.
outro or an intro for the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I know that if Michael Bublé asked me to come on as as a guest, I'd be more than happy to. Like,
You
or any
know,
celebrity.
I wanna break out into song now, Brent.
Yep.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
Thank you, everyone, for
Right?
tuning in.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll punch out,
Yeah.
Brent.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain. I'm the host, and stay tuned to our next episode on Monday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.